Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Nerd Herders. My name is Rich.
I'm Nick.
We are from the Over Beer channel, and today we are talking about what we've been up to. So all the latest movies, games, things we've been working on. So Nick, tell us, what have you been up to?
Nothing. No, I've actually got three things.
All right, well, we'll see you guys next time.
I've got three things, and I'm excited to talk about all three of them.
Wow, okay, cool.
Yeah, so I've got 2 movies and a game.
No Warcrafts this week?
No
Did
Warcraft.
you go see it again? Did you see it 2 more times? Are those your 2 movies? It gets better every time?
I didn't. Biggest video game movie of all time, but that's kind of like, the world's tallest midget or whatever. It means nothing. So, two movies and a game. What do you
Okay. Let's do the movies, because I think I know what the game's going to be.
Okay. So I saw 2 movies this week of note, Finding Dory and
Okay.
The Conjuring 2.
Okay.
So you talked about The Conjuring 2 last week, so I'll start there.
Okay.
Really dug this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Some real good creeps, some spooky spooks. Just really well done, and you kind of expect that from James Wan now, which is great. I would say, part of what impressed me so much about the first movie was there's some standout camera movements in that movie and stuff. It wasn't the main thing, but like you watch it and you're like, wow, like this shot's been going on forever.
James Wan really knows how to.
He knows how to do that stuff. I mean, you look back at what's the movie where Kevin Death Wish with
Death Sentence.
Death Sentence. That was a really cool thing. The camera operator on that scene taught my camera operating class.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and him telling us how they did it and stuff. And
That's fucking cool.
It was really cool. But just like James Wan just brings that to the table, and I didn't feel like there was as much of that stuff in this one.
Mm-hmm.
There's some cool moments, but there was some really standout sequences in this movie.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about?
It just continues on and
do you want to do like a spoiler warning?
There's some spoilers at the end.
Okay.
We can go back to it, but I really like the movie.
Okay. Cool.
And then at the end of this, we can talk a bit more about it, because there's one definite element of the movie that I thought was a letdown in comparison to the first movie.
Okay.
So we can talk about that. Stay
Okay.
tuned.
Yeah.
And I saw Finding Dory. Have you seen it yet?
I've not seen it yet. I'm hopefully going to see it this weekend.
Cool. So leading up to the movie, I might have talked about it here. I think we talked about it in person. I just wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
I was not. It didn't seem needed. It didn't seem like it could possibly be essential. It didn't seem like it was doing anything new, and I was kind of worried about this phase that sometimes Pixar gets into, and more they've gotten into, even though Inside Out is sort of like an outlier in the last 6 years of being great for them in a way.
Yeah.
Disney themselves has kind of leapfrogged them a little bit. And this movie, I'll start off by saying it has one of their best short films. Really? And as I was watching it and thinking about like, wow, this is really good, I was trying to think of the last few short films. And honestly, the standout ones have also been the Disney ones before their movies, not the Pixar ones. And so, real good. Beautiful animation. But the movie itself, even though I wasn't excited, it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it does still... Like, somebody asked me the other day, a friend of mine, if it was good in the same way that the Toy Story sequels are good. And it's not. Because it really does kind of chart the same path as the first
That's
movie.
what the trailers have kind of led me to believe.
And it does. It really does. I mean, it's not the same movie beat for beat, but it does hit the same story points beat for beat. And it teaches you, all the messages are the same, like the importance of family and the importance of, overcoming your fears and blah, blah, blah. Like, it really is it has the same things to say. And at the end of the day, you're kind of like, that was really good, but what was the point of this?
Sure.
What do we do differently here? Is the animation improved from 2003's Finding Nemo? Yes, it looks amazing. But it does feel very safe.
Okay.
While also, it feels safe in terms of storytelling and all that. But I will say, you're always reminded when you see a Pixar movie, or the good ones, how much ahead of the rest of the curve they are by the trailers you see before the movie. You see the trailer for Storks and Secret Life of Pets and this and that, and those might be fine movies, but like Pixar's on another level. They don't do the cheap humor. They don't do the stupid stuff. They don't do the stunt casting. They don't do that stuff, and you're reminded of that immediately seeing those trailers and then seeing the movie. But it doesn't do anything new.
So would you put this in like middle tier Pixar kind of?
I think it's about to be in the upper tier.
Okay.
It's just there's like an elastic band like kind of stopping it there's something that I thought was dumb about the end, but I won't talk about it.
Would you put it above Monsters University? Because that's the last kind of sequel that I like. Because I
Monsters
hate Cars
University
2.
is a really fun movie. Mm-hmm. It's a funny movie. It's a good college comedy. That's
I mean it's Revenge of the Nerds with
and it has some heart, to be sure, but it is non-essential while being enjoyable. Mm-hmm. You look at how, in my opinion, Monsters Inc., the heart that comes out of that movie is not on the same level. It's above that, but it is definitely below the two Toy Story sequels in terms of feeling like it was actually necessary. Mm-hmm. And they don't return to this world. There's nothing else for them to do. There really is. There's nothing left. Don't come back to this. But it's fine that they did. Definitely go see it. Okay. It is a great animated movie. It'll probably... fuck it. I thought Zootopia was better. It's not the best animated movie of the year. It's not the best Disney movie of the year. But go see it. It's pretty great. And then the game, I started playing Ratchet and Clank maybe like an hour in.
Okay. What do you think so far?
I like it a lot. I think it's pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. Really awesome, actually. Refreshing. Coming off of Uncharted and then Gone Home, which was a really... deep experience. I didn't realize how much I missed playing like a platformer type thing, 3D platformer, until I was doing it. And I was like, wow, like I feel like I'm playing, Nintendo 64 again. It is really fun. Yeah,
I played it when it first came out, and I probably played it for just a couple hours. I just, and for whatever reason, I haven't gone back to it. Just other stuff has come up and travel, isn't it? But yeah, I think it's solid. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It looks gorgeous.
Yeah, no, it looks really good. The humor is overall pretty funny. I thought some of it was... They're kind of going a little bit... They've made maybe one too many like reboot jokes already. I don't know how much that continues, but it is funny, it's charming, and it's a lot of fun. It's well done. I can't wait to check out more, and I'll report back when I beat it.
Maybe we go see the movie now, too.
No, I'm not going to do that. So how about you? What have you been up to?
Well, it's been a late week for me. I've been out of town and doing some stuff. You can hear about that in an upcoming episode of the Over a Beer podcast at soundcloud.com/overbeer. But I have been playing a game that is worth mentioning. It's called Downwell. So it's a vertical platformer. And essentially it's you fighting your way down like a pit or through a well, however you want to call it. And there's a variety of different monsters and just enemies and stuff. On what? I think it's on Steam, but I've been playing it on Vita, so it's on PS4 and Vita. I think it's like $2.99 or something on the PlayStation Store. So definitely check it out. Definitely worth your time. It's hard, like it's crazy difficult. Like I played it, on my plane ride for a good 3-4 hours, and I'm still like haven't beaten the second like world of it yet, because you don't get lives, you get 4 hits and then you have to restart. So it's all about the finesse of jumping down and hitting enemies and dodging enemies, and you get different like weapons and stuff. So the way it works is you get a jump and then you have some kind of weapon. It's a laser or a machine gun or whatever, and it comes out under you. So when you jump, and then you use that to sort of like help maneuver yourself around or kill the enemies and things like that. And you get different versions and different upgrades where if you jump on an enemy it causes an explosion, or if you shoot a block it shoots a bullet upward and things like that. But yeah, I mean it's a great time for $3. I mean you can't beat that.
Yeah,
and it's on Vita.
There you go, if you have one.
Yeah,
I don't.
But that's what I've been up to.
See. That's cool.
So let's jump now into our Conjuring spoilers.
Yeah, let's talk a bit about the Conjuring.
So
if you haven't seen it yet, stop listening or
go see it and then come back and watch the end of this.
If you don't care.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first, I know that you said you had a couple issues. It'd be interesting to see if the first movie, I felt like it had a really great opening that then became a dumb movie, right? Annabelle. The whole thing.
Yeah.
It was a great introduction to this world of what they're investigating, because he's interviewing like the girls, right, and they're telling the story. and then they call back to Annabelle at the end, and then she got like a movie that's not supposed to be all that great. But I didn't like the way they presented the Amityville stuff. I thought that it was a weird way to start the movie, and then obviously the way the movie ends, you need her seeing that vision, and the suggestion is that it's the same demon that was in both, and like you need that, but I didn't feel like it was just a really odd way to start the movie to me.
See, I like the Amityville stuff because I've always liked the Amityville case. I like the Amityville movies.
It was just so
and
abbreviated, and I was like, why didn't we just get the fucking Amityville movie?
Well, that's kind of what my hope was going to be. Like before seeing this movie, like, oh, maybe the third one will be them investigating the Amityville, and then this was a cool way.
They defeated the demon. It's over.
Sure. But I'm saying this was a cool way for them to sort of, for me anyway, to address the Amityville case without having to potentially make what could then be compared to the original Amityville Horror or the Amityville, the remake or anything else, and sort of not retread those same waters, but still give it some attention.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm glad I at least got to see some of it.
I feel like if you haven't seen the original movies or you aren't familiar with the case, it's just kind of a confusing way to start the movie.
Sure. Well, the whole idea was...
It's not... I didn't think... There's so much of the first movie and so much of the rest of this movie where I felt like they got the creepy tone right and this, like, just the atmosphere. And I didn't, at one moment at all, feel any of that while I was watching her vision of what was happening.
Okay.
It just didn't work for me on that level.
Okay.
At all, where I was kind of like, oh, fuck, like, is this movie not going to be effective to me like the first one was? And I was like, damn. But then it quickly does become really well done.
Yeah.
I thought. So, what were your issues with the movie?
My issues are kind of with the end. Well, I've got a couple issues. I think it's too long. It's over 2 hours.
It is. All right, yes. And I saw this movie at 11 last night. And
they make it work. Like, I think it works. But at the same time, like, up until the third act, it feels like two separate movies. Like, you've got all the stuff going on with them, with the investigator, with the Warrens. And
until they get there, you mean?
Yeah, like, it's just, it takes so long for them to get there. Whereas in the first one, they're there pretty early in investigating
there early.
it.
I feel like... because it was another family, it's more kids. Maybe they, and it's based on a true story, but they can bend this stuff here.
Yeah.
They could have had them show up earlier than they did in real life, and who honestly would have cared. But I think that maybe he felt like the similarities, but it would have been like, are we making the same movie again?
But then I don't think that the ending is necessarily earned. Or I think also think the ending's a little cheap. Where she's like,
what? Where she's like, I found two.
She's like, yeah.
I hated that. I thought that it was like why? Are
you always say that one person can change your life. Well, I'm lucky enough to find two. And then he gives her like the cross, and I'm like, I didn't feel their connection with these kids enough for him to do that for her. Whereas in the first one, I could have understood him giving like the cross to one of them.
Yeah,
because they had more time together.
I agree with that. I thought the ending was too sugar coated, too.
It's just way too overly sentimental. And
honestly, the worst element of when Spielberg doesn't trust his instincts and tries to give the audience what they want. You think of like War of the Worlds, the way that ends without spoilers.
I haven't seen it.
Okay, well, it's a big issue that people have with that movie. It felt like that. But as for, is it long? Yes, but as I was watching it, there are these quiet moments in the movie of people having a discussion that has nothing to do with scary elements happening around it, or people when he's singing the song to them, and just these little moments in discussions, like also when she's outside talking to the other investigator type guy, and he's talking about, this isn't why, it's because I lost my... Like, they could have cut that and cut out 5 minutes of the movie here, cut out 5 minutes of the movie there, but I appreciated so much that James Wan took the time to have those scenes that makes these feel like full-fledged characters that I honestly don't know what you would cut. Like, maybe you cut one of the sequences.
I was trying to figure that out too.
But you need those too for the pacing.
And I think the only thing that I came to where I was like, you probably could have cut that is like the musical scene where he's doing the guitar and singing for them. And I'm like...
But then I feel like if they had cut that, then even more it would have felt like the end was unearned.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I feel like it's a great moment for her to be like, this is why I love him, like the way that she's watching him and stuff. And you really feel like they're more people than just these
Yeah,
investigators.
it does a
It's
much
a
better
tough
job
one.
than most horror films of developing its characters and making these feel like real, fleshed out people.
Hmm. And I was legitimately kind of worried for a while at the end that he was going to die.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what the hell happened to these people. And I'm totally ready for a third one.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see this continue.
Well, they said
for at least one more.
He said he has an idea, and I think the article I read said he wants it to be in the 80s. Like we've seen like two ends of the 70s, and now it's time to move into the 80s.
Right.
One thing I do want to give a shout out to is I fucking love The Crooked Man.
Yeah, that was cool.
I thought that was a really cool sequence.
Yeah, that was cool.
And a cool idea.
Yeah, well, both times he showed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really, really cool. All the kid actors were really good.
Mm-hmm.
The little girl, the main one, I thought was great.
That was another issue. I feel like there's like 4 kids.
Yeah,
only
the one
3
boy,
of them do anything, and the 4th one.
There's that one point where he's like, "We gotta
stand up." That's all he does in the whole
like,
movie.
Who are you? Are you gonna die? Because
Like I
you're
feel
not
like
essential?
they could have cut him out and then made the bullied kid be the one who's like, no, I gotta stand. My sisters have been standing up for me. Now I need to stand up for. And that could have worked a little bit better.
Yeah.
But like every time I'm like, oh, that's right. There's 4 of these kids. There's not 3 of them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there definitely wasn't enough for that 4th kid. That's fair. But, really, really, there was a couple longer sequences, like when the boy is getting like terrorized by the demon, and then a couple with the girl, like, ending up downstairs, and then they go upstairs, and then the sound, and then the things flying around, and the mom comes in, and it goes crazy, and then the cops. I thought all of that was like a really extended amount of time of I could just hear people behind me just like wishing it would stop being scary for a few minutes, and that was cool. Yeah, and people in my theater were going nuts, and I knew that they would because there were people like screaming in terror when the Lights Out trailer came on before.
Yeah,
and
we
went
all
right, this
like
is gonna be a cool crowd.
We went opening night,
yeah,
and it was like that that horror crowd, and like the people who were a lot of like people who were clearly freaked out, and I mean it was fun. Usually I hate crowds talking, but like they didn't really talk. They just it was a reacting crowd, not a talking crowd.
Which is sometimes the best thing that you can get if they do it the right way.
Yeah.
Like I remember seeing the first Paranormal Activity, and I saw it in Gainesville, Florida, on like an opening night. There was a lot of people who were very vocal. We'll say that, college students, and I mean there were people running up and down the aisles in terror, like get me out of here. It was amazing. It was the best way to watch that movie.
Wow,
for sure.
See, that was one where I feel like the crowd made it worse for me, because like I saw it at Universal. It was like on that Demand It tour thing that they were doing, and like a light would flicker, and everyone would like, oh my god! I'm just like, it's a light.
They're trying to get on the commercial.
Like like it felt like those people that are in those reaction commercials.
But I mean, anyway, The Conjuring 2, really great. I'm excited that James Wan wants to do more. He's going off to do Aquaman, probably.
We'll see how that all turns out.
And then it sounds like he's going to go back to that, or something else horror, and that's awesome that we're not losing him. I think we talked about that with Aquaman before, but I feel it more so now. Like these 2 movies, Insidious 1, some of his other stuff.
Yeah. And this is one of those movies where I'm like, I would welcome a 3rd movie. Like Insidious, I saw the first one, I'm like, okay, I don't need any more of this. But this one, I'm like, okay, like James Wan, take me where you want to go.
I just hope that he's the one who keeps doing these.
Well, there's supposedly a spin-off now with the Nun
See,
demon.
I don't understand that.
Because they can market it like the Annabelle.
But they destroy that thing.
Sure. But maybe there's a story that Annabelle wasn't
like
in...
Annabelle, which I never saw, I won't see the Scary Nun movie.
No.
Unless it's, well reviewed. But Annabelle came out, it had like a 12%, and I was like, I'm all set. I don't understand why you need more of the Nun, but yeah, it was scary. But I felt like Annabelle was a small part that was hinted at in the first movie. And a spin-off movie, while I didn't care, felt merited. The Nun is a big part of this movie. So then it's like, that feels more like a sequel.
Sure.
Even than a spin-off.
But it would probably be a prequel then, at this point, I'd imagine.
I would think so.
But that's a discussion for maybe another time.
Yeah. So anyway, we like The Conjuring.
Yeah, what did you guys think of The Conjuring? What did you think of any of the movies or games we talked about today? Let us know in the comments below, or you can tweet at both of us. You can tweet at me at Rich Belson.
I'm at Stonks.
The channel is on Twitter at OABeer_official, and you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/overabeer, or on Instagram over_A_beer, and YouTube at youtube.com/overabeer. Every Tuesday at YouTube, youtube.com/overabeer, we post beer reviews, so full in-depth beer reviews. I'm not sure what we're reviewing this week. I have to go back and look.
Stay tuned, check it out.
But last week we reviewed Hype Whale, so you can check out that review. And then every Friday at soundcloud.com/overabeer, you can check out the Over a Beer podcast, which is a more conversational and off-topic show than this. We're working on getting it on iTunes. We'll hopefully have that up for you soon. And we will, of course, tweet about it and post it on Facebook once it is. But that will wrap things up for today. So until next time, drink up.
Buttermilk.